It didn't take long to run into the first train of the day. E-RBX-SPM was parked in the Ferndale siding. Led by all GEVO power, the empty coal drag was waiting in the siding because something else was on its way north. Both signals on the cantilever showed red, but the absolute signal for northward traffic was showing a green over red. I sincerely apologize for the abrupt film, but my camera had malfunctioned. This of course involves taking it off the tripod, opening the service door, ejecting the battery and placing it back in, closing the door, and finally screwing the camera back onto the tripod. It was unsurprisingly raining on this spring morning, so my backup waterproof camera got the call up. The train in question would be C-SPM-RBX, loaded coal on its way to British Columbia. This train, by the way, was being led by two GEVOs with an SD-70 Max sandwiched in between. The BNSF has a unique way of identifying its trains. Most railroads use a letter, number format to identify their trains, but the BNSF does it differently, instead using a letter format. The first letter identifies what the train is hauling. In this case, the C means loaded coal. The next three letters identify where the train originates from. SPM is the abbreviation used for the Signal Peak Energy coal mines in Roundup, Montana. The final three letters identify the train's destination. RBX is the abbreviation for the Roberts Bank Superport in Delta, British Columbia, Canada. In a nutshell, this train is coming from Montana and is on its way to British Columbia. Also take note of the surviving Burlington Northern logos on the sides of many of these hoppers. Prior to the ATSF Burlington Northern merger in 1996, the Bellingham Subdivision was Burlington Northern Territory. Today's coal train comes to an end with yet another GEVO. After the coal train passed, the signal went dark. Moments later, the signal lit up again, this time showing a yellow over red. Caution, or as the railroad identifies it, medium approach. The railroad was empty at the moment, but today there was a sideshow in between trains. Remember that Trackmobile I showed you a few episodes ago? Well, today I finally got to see it in action. The Trackmobile, or Shuttlewagon as it says above the front windows, is parked in the truck stop parallel to the elevator. He crosses the road and aligns himself with the industrial spur lead. From here, stilts come down, keeping the Trackmobile from falling as the rubber road wheels raise in and the metal train wheels come down. Around this same time, a BNSF truck carrying construction equipment passes by, turning into the nearby office. BNSF has an office in the same lot that the Trackmobile came from. With all the crew aboard, the Trackmobile makes its way over to a string of empty hoppers. The Trackmobile has to stop before crossing the road because it doesn't have the power to keep the crossing signals activated like a normal train, as you will see here. After I stopped recording the Trackmobile, the crossing signals activated again. At first, I assumed that the Trackmobile had triggered the signals, but then I saw the distinctive glow on the Bellingham Subdivision's rails. Sure enough, here came the train I had waited for, M-EVE-VBC, mixed freight coming from the Delta Yard in Everett, Washington, bound for Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. As the train passed, the Trackmobile pulled its consist across at the same time. Luckily, a string of empty center beams were passing at the same time, so I was at least able to see the passing meet. On a rail line with such little traffic, scenes like this are quite rare. There has been a surplus of garbage and automobiles. Many of these freights are dominated by double-stacked well cars and at least one auto rack. The empty hoppers will be loaded today and picked up the following week by LBEW, the local switcher based out of Bellingham. As soon as the freight was out of its way, the empty coal drag came to life and crept out of the siding. For the third time in less than an hour, the crossing signals were once again activated. After the train passed, the line was vacant once again in anticipation of Amtrak Cascades 513. Arriving at Blaine found a string of flat cars carrying new rails parked in the house siding. The Bellingham Subdivision has been undergoing massive upgrades that date back to the summer of 2014. After nearly an hour, Amtrak 513 arrives at the American border. He comes to a stop to allow Border Patrol to inspect him. Five to 10 minutes later, he gets the all clear and will highball it to the Fairhaven station in Bellingham. Today's Amtrak is being led by the new Talgo 8 train set unveiled in 2013. Take a look at the trailing DPU unit, however. Today's train is trailed by a GEVO. I always found it amusing to see GEVOs burying the Amtrak logo in colors. Heading for home, that loaded coal train we saw earlier was coming out of the siding. At the same time, M-VBC EVE, mixed freight coming from Vancouver and returning to Everett, was preparing to leave. I first decided to get the loaded coal train from the other side at the Bell Road crossing. The freight train was still leaving the siding at a respectable speed, so I was able to gain lost ground on him. The rain had stopped falling by this point, so I could use my regular camera. There is one road bump in my path, the Portal Way Birch Bay Linden Highway intersection. To my advantage, I got a green light, so I continued the chase. I got ahead of him and stopped at the Valley View Road crossing with only seconds to spare. A GATX tanker ends the train in today's Railfan outing. 5 trains out of the 13 estimated daily trains is not that bad, especially on a Saturday. Filming from the Valley View Road Railroad crossing in Custer, Washington, this is Eddie Worley III saying until next time, my friends, thanks for tuning in, Merry Christmas, and God bless you and your family wherever you may be watching.